Hello. Welcome to The Decider. This is the app that I made for local projects code test so here we are in the main UI of the app, and I'll just walk you through how it works. There's two panels. The right hand panel here is place where the user will get presented with a question. So here's an example of a question. A popular priest has published a pamphlet critical of the crown. Will you execute him in the public square? So basically, every time you're presented with a question, you have the opportunity to answer in the affirmative or in the negative, yes or no answer. And if you answer yes, it's going to affect your standing with all of these different groups here, either positively or negatively. You don't know. And similarly, like if you answer no, it's going to affect all of those groups. You're standing with all of those groups, in the inverse of how it would have if you had answered yes. It might not affect all of them. It might only affect one or two or three. But let's just give it a go. Okay, execute him in the public square. Well, that doesn't seem right. So I'm gonna, although he did criticize the crown, I'm gonna, yeah, and there's too much at stake. I'm gonna have him executed. Okay, and so the next thing we'll do is take my picture after a very brief countdown. And then you may have noticed that we just lost standing with the clergy, increased standing with the court, and lost standing with the peasantry and the intelligentsia. So, but at least the court loves me. Now let's try one more. Will you enact a prohibition on arms manufacturing outside of the Blacksmiths Guild? Let's say no. I know that the guilds aren't going to like this, but we're not doing too good with them anyways. We've got another picture. Okay, now that picture, the guilds, my standing with the guilds went down. You'll notice that it's the colors auto-generate when your standing gets low, it approaches more of a red color, and when your standing gets high, it approaches a deeper or brighter green, and in the middle it's this kind of gnarly brown color. So that picture, that you saw was, the user's photo will be taken through the webcam and then processed with a GLSL shader and sent to an endpoint on the back end that's intended to store it somehow. It's just kind of a stub right now, but I think what we would do is store it on S3 and then save the URL in some kind of table that we have for these portraits. Okay, so that's the UI. The other element to the app is the CMS. So all of this is customizable. The questions that you see and the different factions here. Obviously, like this idea of decisions and how they affect your standing with factions is just an interpretation on an abstract set of mechanics, which is that you have something here, and your response to it has the potential to affect some set of statistics, right? So I think in the example it was given, it was sort of like a voting, like a civil like municipal statistics voting. Excuse me. Anywho, so with that in mind, like it's fully customizable on this admin backend. The only data models that I've actually exposed here are just tokens, questions, and question effects. So I'll just walk you through how that works. Tokens are, as you can see here, that just maps into the different factions that we see on the front end. And really, it's really simple record, just has a name. Questions, also just text a field for you to put the question that the user will see. The way it comes together is basically it's a association table or join table, which is question effect, which basically tells you, given a question, what are the tokens that question is going to affect. So you see here something like this priest that was critical of the crown that has the ability to affect the clergy, the royal court, the intelligentsia. Looks like it has affects the intelligentsia twice, which is probably a mistake. And the peasantry. And then there's one other interesting field here on a question effect, and that's the delta. So it basically means how much this token's value will change given a yes answer. So you see the clergy get a -10 if you execute the priest in the public square, but the royal court will respond with a +10. And so for anything, this delta, there's only one value, and it's the yes value. So if you answer no, we just modify that token with the additive inverse of the delta. So we would add 10 to clergy if you refuse to execute that popular priest. Just to sort of validate this admin panel, let's create a new token. What's that drop down? What else could there be? Well, there could just be the fools. What's the fools? Alright. And so we should see fools now. You know why we might not is we might need to reset our token values because a new one has been added. So there's also a reset feature here. And so reset will just set everything back to 50. These statistics are moving on a scale from 0 to 50. They're minned out at 0 and maxed out at 0 to 100. They're maxed out at 100. So when you reset, they all just go to 50, and that's when it's detected that there was a new item in the like a new item in the back end, a new token. There's lots more to talk about here. I think we'll probably get to that in the discussion of the project. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough, and look forward to further discussion of this project. Thanks.